You're watching the Community MMA.
What up, what up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the Community MMA. Big weekend just passed, right? UFC Paris. The crowd was going crazy. Things went their way in most of the fights, especially at the top. We're gonna get into all that also. UFC 293 on the horizon this Saturday night, and it doesn't get any better than Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. I mean, does Strickland really have a chance to win this fight? No one believes he does, but not a lot of people believe that Sean O'Malley would win at UFC 292 against Aljamain Sterling, who seemed to be at his best and everybody was raving about, and then he fell. Sean O'Malley shocked the world. So who's to say Sean Strickland can't do it? Now, you know, with the prediction, when it comes to the main fight, we've already had this up for months. You know that we got Israel Adesanya winning. We've played that prediction video probably 2 or 3 times already, so we're not going to waste our time with that today. But we will get to another significant fight in Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. So just remain calm. I promise you, we're getting to that prediction here shortly. But first and foremost, we got to recap UFC Paris last night. Great night of fights. I mean, a lot of decisions in the prelims, thankfully, because I was watching the Colorado football game. You know, I can't miss Deion Sanders. So luckily the fights were going to decisions. It was easy to follow. I was watching the Colorado game, and then the Colorado game ended 45-42. Primetime Deion Sanders gets the win, right? Colorado 1-0. Could be in the top 25. Who knows? And then when that ended, the fireworks began at UFC Paris. So that's kind of how it went for me yesterday. And the big fight that everybody wanted to know about was Cyril Gane. Because if he goes in here and loses to Sergey Spivac, that's not a good look. Because he's a number 2 contender in the heavyweight division. He's got to get the win. This is how it turned out last night. Ooh, Cyril Gane with a nice knee to the stomach here. He's beginning to pick up the pace. And you can see the look on Spivac's face, man. This thing is probably the beginning of the end here. Late in round 2, 1:30 left, and Spivac's covering up. Look out. Cyril Gane is just pounding with the uppercuts. Now the hammer from over the top. And a straight right, straight left. And Spivac is reeling. What's the ref waiting for here? He's giving him every chance to fight. But Spivac's wilting, and that's it. It's over, man. Cyril Gane lifts UFC Paris and wins this fight in the way that he should. And just breaks down Sergey Spivac over time. 94-14 in significant strikes. What? Head strikes 36-11. Just dominant performance, and body shots is where it was at, 37-1. And you think about that, man. You're getting hit in the body. Those arms start coming down. Then those head strikes take over. So Cyril Gane dominant here in Paris. The crowd loves it, obviously. They're roaring. And he gets the TKO finish with 1:15 left in round 2. He's going to move to 12-2 and maintain his number 2 spot in the heavyweight division here at UFC Paris. Yeah, so Cyril Gane did exactly what he's supposed to do, and that's come away with a victory, right? He's got to beat Sergey Spivac in that fight. And not only beat him, he's got to beat him down, and he did, convincingly. So now who does he get? Does he get a Tom Aspinall? Does he get a Sergey Pavlovich? I mean, you know, any of those guys are going to present a problem for Cyril Gane. Make no mistake about it.
Whoa!
I mean, if he fights Tom Aspinall,
Boom!
it's not going to be good.
Boom! Oh, a big right hand!
And that's kind of what you'll hear if those two face off. Whether it's Pavlovich or Tom Aspinall. I mean, either one's going to present trouble for Cyril Gane. But he did what he was supposed to do, look very comfortable last night. And now we'll see what the future holds for him. After getting dominated by John Jones, he responded. And that's what you got to do in any sport, right? If you lose a big game or a big fight, you got to respond in the next one. And you got to do it convincingly, and he did it. Now, another guy that's trending today is Benoit Saint Denis. Check this out last night. Crowd really on their feet here. Want to see a finish by Saint Denis as he stands and drives a knee into the thigh. Thiago Moises is kind of just covering up, trying to get that right arm of Saint Denis off of him. And the crowd really picking up the volume. Now they want to see a finish. Thiago Moises continues to cover up. The ref's warning him. He's got to fight back. But when he's taking a pounding now, St. Denis just opening up. The ref's really looking at it. Boy, I think he's got to stop this. He's got to stop this. It's getting close. St. Denis just pounding away with no response, and that's it. Let's go, baby. Wow, the crowd is going crazy for the hometown favorite, Benoit St. Denis, as he gets the win over a tough Thiago Moises, a Contender Series guy. He's going to win and move to 12-1, and he just wore him down and got the win near the end of round 2. Yeah, so Benoit St. Denis gets the win in round 2, near the end, right? Full 10 minutes. But he's facing off against a good fighter in Thiago Moises, and he looked confident coming into the fight too, did Moises, but he just couldn't get the job done. I mean, Benoit St. Denis is ridiculous. The guy beats a lot of people. Another fighter trending today is Morgan Charrier, whom I don't even really know a lot about, but I learned a little bit last night for sure. And Charrier picking it up now with a nice body kick. 130 left in round 1 and another one. That's going to force Zucchini to back off, and then he catches a leg kick. So he stops one, but he's clearly running now, sliding around, and he's recognizing the power. Nice jab there by Sherry. Ooh, and a nice body kick to the sternum. And Zucchini goes down, takes another kick and another punch, and that's it. Morgan Sherry dancing around the octagon. And UFC Paris, who's been on hold for about 3-4 decisions, is now on its feet here in the main card as Morgan Sherry gets the TKO victory. And you see flags flying, people jumping around. He's going to move to 19-9 with a first round finish over Manolo Cecchini, who's going to fall to 11-4. Good fighter in his own right, but those body kicks are ridiculous. So he gets the win here. 109 left in round 1. Officially 351 into round 1 here. Featherweight division, UFC Paris. Yeah, so we learned a lot about Morgan last night. He's a good fighter. He can finish his opponent, and he can get the crowd rocking. And after a lot of decisions after that fight, that was a well-needed finish that the crowd needed to see. Sit through another 3 or 4 fights that go to a decision before things got rocking in the main card. Now, last night ended up being a great night. 10-1. Look at that. Jocelyn Edwards is the only one that ruined the perfect night. And I didn't realize it until the St. Denis fight. I look up and I'm like, whoa, we're like 8-1, 9-1 right now. And then Manafiore got the job done. Cyril Gane got the win. That's the big one, right? The main event. We're 23-8 on the year. 241, 132-3 overall since the first fights began in the new year of 2023. So, you had the big 3 win. We always like the big 3. Volkan, Oezdemir got the win. William Gomez, I believe. No, he didn't get. I don't know if he got the finish or not. Morgan Charrier, something like that, got the win. Taylor Lapalus, Ange Alusa, Fareed Basharat, and Jacqueline Calvacanti, who looked good in the UFC debut. So things were rocking for us last night. Great night, and we're still waiting for the perfect night. And it's not easy to come by. There's always one fight that's not going to go your way. But 10 out of 11, we'll take that each and every week if we can. Our average is like, 8-4, 8-5, somewhere around there when there's 12, 13 fights on the year. So things are looking good for us, and we'll take it because you never know when you're going to hit a downturn. And this week coming up at UFC 293 could be the downturn because people were getting on me last week for taking a lot of the favorites, but I got to go with who I think is going to win. This week, we got some underdogs. As I'm going through the early predictions, mainly in the main card we've gotten done so far, I think we've taken 3 of the 5. We've taken underdogs. So it's going to be an interesting week. Now, a big fight, the people we're talking about outside of Adesanya versus Strickland is Tai Tuivasa and Alexander Volkov, which is like the next level of heavyweights. They're not in the top. They're not the Cyril Ganes. They're not the Tom Aspinalls or Sergey Pavlovich or John Jones. Maybe on the level of Stipe, because I think he's fading a little bit. But these guys are on the next level, and they're looking for who's top 5, who's top 6. So let's break that fight down right now. In the heavyweight division at UFC 293, you got Tai Tuivasa taking on Alexander Volkov. These are two guys ranked inside the top 10. Tuivasa 15-5, Volkov 36-10. Now Volkov is 5 inches taller at 6'7". He's 34. Tuivasa just 30 years old. Volkov also has a 5-inch reach advantage, 80-75. That's considerable right there. He fights right-handed. Tuivasa is the southpaw. Now in terms of activity, that goes to the 6'7". Volkov 4.9 to 4.1. So he's taller by 5 inches. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage, and he's more active. Neither guy really big on takedowns, but Volkov can get one here and there. Bam Bam, 52% takedown defense, so maybe Volkov gets a takedown or two here. We'll see. Coming off back-to-back losses to Sergey Pavlovich, very good fighter. First round KO, Gane, third round KO. So he's fought two of the best in the division in the last two fights, so don't count him out. He's beaten Derek Lewis, Augusto Sakai, Greg Hardy, and Harry Hunsucker. Now Volkov, a.k.a. Drago, 73% takedown defense. That won't matter in this fight anyway. He's coming off back-to-back wins against Alexander Romanov by first-round KO. He also KO'd Jair Zinho Rosenstrike, wow, in the first round. That's big. Lost to Tom Aspinall. So both of these guys lost to probably the top 3 fighters in the division. That would be Tom Aspinall, Gane, and Sergey Pavlovich. Yes, I said it. Those 3 are even better than Stipe. So it makes this fight interesting. Also, Volkov beat Marcin Tybura by decision. So both guys really good. This is like the next level, right? Not the top 3, but 4th or 5th here in the division. And that's what they're kind of fighting for, is that next layer in the heavyweight division. And this is going to be an interesting one because Volkov, 36 wins, Tuivasa, 15. And this could really go either way. But I'm going to lean towards Tai Tuivasa. I think he's going to have the home crowd support in this one. And he's going to have to overcome the stats, though. And when he starts getting pummeled, he kind of covers up and he's in trouble quickly. Or he lands a big finishing punch. He's going to be at a big disadvantage here. He is the underdog. But something's telling me to go with Tai Tuivasa in this fight. I just think the sheer guts and heart is going to lead to victory here and overcome the stats. That's what it comes down to. If you're going to beat the stats and beat a guy that is favored over 2-1 against you, it's got to be sheer gut and heart, and Tai Tuivasa has that. I'll be looking forward to seeing the Shui. In this one, he wins and moves to 16-5, likely by 3rd round finish here, heavyweight division, UFC 293. Yeah, so we'll take Tai Tuivasa to win this one, and he's the underdog. So for all of those of you to say, hey, you only go with the favorites, look at the record. You don't have our record on the year. More 109 more wins than losses. You don't get that by just going with favorites. Along the way, we've taken a lot of underdogs that have come through. Lost a lot of fights too. But for the most part, we do pick winners. And we'll ride that into this week. We got a little room for error now. So I like the Tuivasa pick. And I seldomly go against the numbers. I got to find a reason. And this is just sheer heart from Tai Tuivasa. And I want to see him do the Shui. And if you don't know what that is, that's drinking from the shoe after the fight. Someone takes their shoe off and he drinks from it. I mean, it's crazy. I love it, man. I mean, I love it when he does that. I mean, to me, it's nasty as heck, but it's funny as heck, too. Only he can get away with it. So then, you look at what are the fans thinking about this fight? And although it's early, we just posted this, already 62% are saying Tai Tuivasa, so I feel good about that pick. I mean, this guy's 6 feet compared to the 6'7" Volkov. I mean, he's at a tremendous height disadvantage, reach disadvantage. The numbers in terms of the activities against him, but we're still riding with Tai Tuivasa. Please believe it. Please believe it. But I'm looking forward to UFC 293 and a busy weekend next weekend. Coaching football. We got games on Saturday and Sunday. Then I'm gonna come home Saturday night and do 293, and then we got another game Sunday, and it's going to be an action-packed weekend next weekend. I don't plan to get hardly any rest, but that's how life is, and you got to love it. Just keep working. Just keep moving. As we jump into the Q&A, Lionheart says, Just FYI, his last LFA fight was a split decision loss, but it was a razor sharp decision against a tough, experienced Russian for LFA middleweight title. So it wasn't just any LFA fight. It was a title fight, which is always going to be the best against the best. And we're looking at Chad Hanekom. I believe, is that the main event? I can't remember, but that video is trending way bigger than the other 4 fights at the Contender Series. So look for that fight to be a big one, and appreciate the information there, because I saw the loss, but when you're fighting at a LFA, that's a pretty decent promotion. And Boer says, all these people talking about Paulo stopping Romero's takedown are in for a rude awakening. Chimaev is a chain wrestler. If you see Costa's most recent grappling / takedown, it looks pathetic. What also gets me mad is the people that say Burns, as a former lightweight, held his own against Chimaev. So imagine Paulo. Burns would destroy Paulo in a grappling match. Different levels. Yeah, and I appreciate that info too, because listen, Hamza is going to mop the floor with Paulo Costa at UFC 294. He's going to mop the floor at 294. Please believe it. Trust me when I tell you. As Stan Lexi says, P.S. He's not 12-1. He should be 13-0, as his only loss was worst ref ever, and the guy was declared under substances of a scandal. Basically, we're talking about Benoit Saint Denis. Dana gonna have to give the God of War what he deserves. 0 losses, and Benoit Saint Denis looked ridiculous last night. You got to give it to him. UFC Paris, and I have to say, I love when these fights are overseas. Right? You had UFC Paris, and then the week before, you had UFC Singapore, and that one started at 5 in the morning. That's a little early. But Paris started at 12, and the good thing is all these things are done by 6 o'clock at night Eastern time. You get to watch some football, right? Let's get the UFC on and popping early, and let's get it off early so your boy can get some rest. But 293 next week, he's not going to get over till like 1 or 2 in the morning, so can't do anything about that. That's just the way the pay-per-view goes. But let's leave it at that, man. Big week ahead. You're going to see me. You better believe it. 293 on the horizon. For now, this is your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day, and God bless. As always, peace.